Guys, hope you're good. Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Chris Bradley, owner of the MRR agency and fitnessads.ai. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to get client results so good that you're the head of your niche and it feels slightly illegal. So, let me set some context here. I was a personal trainer, online coach, gym owner, and now an agency owner. And the biggest breakthrough I had as a personal trainer was I started getting better client results than anyone in my gym. And then I was the best in the city at getting client results. Now, everybody wants to get clients' results, everybody. But most coaches fall short because when they're trying to get a client a result, working with clients is very emotion based. It's you trying to give them what they want, wrapped in what you think they need. So I'll give you the analogy for this. It's chocolate broccoli. In fact, let me draw some chocolate broccoli so that it can serve as a pivotal part of what we're about to talk about. So there's a piece of broccoli and here is some chocolate, right? So chocolate broccoli refers to giving clients what they want, wrapped in what they actually need. So if I tell my kid, I've not got a kid, but if I tell a kid, you need to eat your broccoli, you need to eat your greens, they won't eat it. But if you wrap it in some chocolate, maybe they'll have it. There's another story with this where it's like giving a dog flea treatment. If you wrap it the garlic and ham, they eat it, and all the fleas jump off the dog. Same idea. Anyway, this is not part of the script. My point is that when you work with clients, that a lot of the time, especially when you're new and you're inexperienced and you're not confident, you kind of just cater for clients. You just you just help them, and then eventually you build up a relationship with them, and then eventually you just tell them how it is. Eventually, when you get there, but there's a lot of coaches right now who are still in that phase of, I don't know what to say, and I really want to say this, but I'm not going to say this. And even business owners in general, when this comes to whatever business you run, like there is a point where you're trying to keep the client happy, but really you just want to tell them that this is exactly what they need to do. But also just sometimes you just don't know what that particular client needs to do. Now I'm going to show you a framework that I've used for when I was a PT, online coach and gym owner, and now running the agency. And I always come back to this because yes, working with people is very, very personal, but and actually when sometimes you need a 30,000 helicopter view to actually go, right, I've trained this client for years now, I've been working with them for a long time, I'm just not seeing any gaps here. And sometimes what happens is they go somewhere else and they get a quick result. Now you could call that for the fact that it's fresh and new and all that stuff, but I don't want you to have clients who are stagnant in your service. I want you to push through and challenge them. And I want you to audit your business here in your program and see which of these areas that I'm about to cover is weak. You can grade it in like red, amber, green. And then looking into next week, looking into a new year, you can then plan out which areas you need to improve, okay? So let's get stuck right in here. So the first thing is I'm going to cover 10 of these, and the very last one's arguably the one that you focus on the most, but you need a new belief system around it. Number 4 is my favorite, and yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So remember, chocolate broccoli. So first things first is, despite what a lot of business owners believe, your clients need excitement. So that's the very first thing to get client results. Now, I want to say a phrase here that hopefully stuck with you, because when I heard it, I heard a variation of it and I tweaked it. This stuck with me. When you get clients excited, they show up. And when they show up, they do the thing. And then when they do the thing, they get a result. Think of that in just its black and white terms. When you get them to show up, they do the thing. When they do the thing, they get the result. When they get the result, they stay and pay. Think about that. That's the whole point of this full thing. And some people, especially with fitness coaching, it's like people shouldn't be excited. They honestly, as you know, if you're a coach, like a lot of the gym and nutrition stuff, it becomes quite repetitive because it's like all the same workouts are the best, like the same movements are the best. It doesn't really change too much. But we know that for the majority of people, they sometimes need excitement. I remember once I had a client who I had for a long time, and she was kind of going through the motions, and I'd give her all these different plans and stuff. And I remember one time we just turned the leg day upside down. So instead of like starting with walking lunges and then some leg extensions and then doing a big heavy back squat, we just turned it upside down. So we just went straight in and started with the opposite stuff. And it broke that repetitiveness and that kind of boredom that was happening. And that's a very small example, but in general, your clients need to be excited. We, as human beings, we need to be excited. Now, of course, people take this to a way at the other end of the spectrum where it's just all they do is, here's how you can get excited. They're like cheerleaders. But fundamentally, you need to get people to show up to do the thing. Regardless, this is why I think, honestly, a lot of really technical coaches and business owners struggle, because they are very, very good when the person's in front of them and they can educate them and teach them stuff, but they don't actually get them to show up. There's a lot of business owners who are great at delivering the product, but they're terrible at marketing and content and getting the client buy-in because they don't know how to get people excited, okay? So excitement is number one. If they don't, you could have the best gym, you could have the best business service in the world, but when you get people in, if you don't get them bought into it and get them excited to do your things, they're never going to implement, which means they will never get a result because they don't implement, okay? So excitement is number one. Next, by the way, I wouldn't say this is an order of importance. It's just, I think it comes in this way. Next is retention. So of course, MRR agency, monthly recurring revenue, we are very, very big on retention, and you need to know your retention score, or attrition, whatever it is. You need to know this because look, there's a million sales gurus in the world. How many client retention gurus do you know? Not many, right? And there's a reason for that, because it's not sexy. But there's a lot of business owners that I know that don't even know the retention numbers or attrition if you're a gym. They just don't know them. And I want you to put as much effort and energy into shutting that back door as you do your front door. There's a lot of content creators now who are coaches. And if you think of this analogy of their grass in their garden looks amazing, and then they go in your house, your business, your service, and it's a shithole. It's an absolute shithole. And I kind of think of it as like a party. Like, let's say you're hosting a party. You've got a sign outside in your garden. Your grass looks amazing. There's flowers planted. And you're out there like, hey, come into my party. Then you go in. The house looks great from the outside. You go in. There's about a couple of people in the party, the service. A bit like, this isn't as good as I thought it was. Like the grass looked great. The garden looked great. And then in this service, and I'm like, this is pretty. And everybody's leaving at the back door. And you don't have an eye in the back door. You're too busy promoting to get more people in. That's what content creators are like. That's what people are like for sales and marketing now. They're too busy on the front end, not doing enough on the back end. So retention is a pivotal part for you to get, not only to secure your business, but to get incredible client results. Like, if you can't retain clients, you're never going to get them long-term breakthroughs, which is essentially going to be a world-class result over time. Okay, next is ascension. Ascension is really, really simple. You want to have stuff in place for clients to go to the next level. This might not be applicable to everybody watching this, but when you've got your business to a certain level, you're at a certain level, and you have a certain number of clients, clients are going to want different access to you. They're going to want different things. So for us, for example, we've got a top table program for the majority of our clients, and then we have the syndicate program for our coaches who just want more. They want more access to me. They want more done for you elements. So whatever that looks like in your business, you need to have an ascension program where people can climb through the tiers, because when people go through the levels, they unlock new levels for themselves. So for example, when I have the syndicate program for our highest tier, and just by going into that program, you immediately have to change your behaviors. You need to think to yourself, right, okay, what do I need to act like when I'm surrounded by these higher level business owners? And that unlocks new levels. New levels lead to new results. And that's what this video is all about. So ascension is a crucial part of it. Another one which seems to be a dying art, or at least people have changed the definition of it, authenticity. Right? This is huge for client results, because not only is it huge for client results, it's huge for your business. By the way, this whole system here you can use just for your business, not just client results. But authenticity, how authentic are you with your clients? How many clients are you just letting off the lead? You're just letting them say things, letting them do things, and you're just not clamping down on it. Being truly authentic. Now, you want to lead with unapologetic authenticity in everything you do. And so when you do that, clients trust you more, they respect you more, and they will 100% just cut the bullshit and actually do the work. So authenticity is huge. And next up is profitability. You might be thinking, Chris, why does profitability have anything to do with client results? Well, not only is this, a crucial part of your business, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, remember that. But profitability is huge toward client results, because this might sound weird to connect these two, but like, see, when your business is profitable, you as the business owner have almost like fun coupons to play with, because you literally just keep self-developing. And when your business is profitable, you become a better coach, a better leader, and better business owner, and that leads to clients getting better results. I know business owners who get great client results who barely do much with their clients. They don't add in all these bells and whistles, but because their business is profitable and they've done so well, they get clients who come in, bought in, they trust them, they do the thing, they don't mess about, and they're actually proud to be part of what they've just signed up to. You ever see that? You ever see business owners who just get great client results and you're like, why? Really, it's the client that comes to them. And it's because they come bought in and they're just like this, they have this level of authority. And that usually it comes from all of this, but honestly, it's when your business is profitable. When your business isn't profitable, you don't have much money to reinvest. So you're always just in that kind of maintenance mode where you're firefighting and trying to do your bit. Whereas if you've got more profits to flood back in to your time, maybe you hire staff when you've got more profits. So therefore, there's better chance for your clients to get results because there's more people helping them, and it has this snowball effect. Okay, so that's profitability. Next up, and right at the bottom here, is community. So not a lot of coaches, not every single coach has a community, but for us, for me specifically, it always worked incredibly well. From having the gym to now in the agency, we have an amazing community of people. And this contributes so much to client results. I can't even tell you, because number of things, but just off the top of my head, when you are in a service and you have access to stuff and you're feeling a bit of the blame game, you're a bit like, this isn't working, I've tried this, I've tried that. But if you have a peer group of people who have got access to the same resources and the same stuff as you, and you turn around and go, well, it worked for Sally, it worked for John, like, it must be me. That is powerful. Now, it's not like pushing off ownership from you to get a client a result, but it's a really good reinforcement tool for people to look about and feel inspired. I've always said this, and this is just my belief, but like, when I first started the agency, but before it was like proper the agency, we had a couple of people who got a bit like triggered by the fact that our community was so successful and always sharing wins. And I will never apologize for getting clients results. If you are in a community group and your translation of other people's success and sharing wins is that it puts you off and it makes you go inward, then unfortunately you're probably not a fit for me. So I will never apologize for that. So if you're asking me if there's any cons to having a community, it might be that people might get triggered by results. And I'll be honest with you, like, I don't want people who get triggered by successful people and then they don't like it. I'd rather get motivated them. I'd rather they got competitive by it. I don't know about you, but that's what I would rather. So community is huge. I could do a whole video on community, to be honest. It is an incredible tool for client results. Next, we have systems. And I guess, like, I've never had systems until I was really like 4 years in the game or whatever. But if we think of probably now, it's systems and AI, we probably have to call it. So how does that contribute to results? Well, systems that allow you as the business owner to help clients without you always opening your mouth. That's the way you have to look at systems. Clients can learn quicker, they can be onboarded quicker, they can understand educational resources a lot quicker, they can watch it on demand. And you know, if I was to line up 100 coaches and ask them, like, what are you trying to achieve with your clients? A lot of them would turn around and say, autonomy. I'm trying to get my clients autonomous to know what to do without me, which is a great goal. But you can't do that always relying on you speaking to them. So they have to spend time learning. And when we think about the enhancement of AI nowadays, all that does is just reduce the guesswork even quicker. It helps the client learn quicker. So, like, at the risk of this turning into a video that you're going to turn off as systems and AI, it's not a strength for, at least coaches, but it's a part of the result getting process, and it's not going anywhere. So if you score this red, I would advise you to go in and figure out ways that can just think to yourself, right? If you're a bit like having a mind blank when it comes to systems and AI, it's like, how do I make the boat go faster for my clients? So there's loads of examples, but like, I remember when I was coaching, I used to do like 8 sessions back to back, right? Sometimes I'd have a wee gap in there. But I'd have online clients and I'd have other clients kind of dotted about, like not with me that day. And so they would message me and I'm back to back with clients and they can't get back to me. Like, I can't get back to them, sorry. But if it was a specific frequently asked question, they could go into our education hub and ask and figure it out and just go, all right, actually, I've got a meal out. There's food swaps here. Brilliant. And they go and watch it and they learn it. It doesn't always have to come from you. And your feeling of always needing to be asked and needed is going to end up leading to burnout. So system stops you from being burnout, and it also makes them go faster, right? That's what it is. We're talking about you're here to get a result. Systems and AI make the boat go faster for you, okay? So that's that. Next up, we have fulfillment. Fulfillment, really simple. I think we're really in the realms of like, how do you get a client result? And this is for you, this is a way for you to achieve success, not by doing more, but by doing better, focusing on delivering outstanding client fulfillment, right? Client fulfillment is the key to results. And it's weirdly, I'm going to add results in a second, but how do you fulfill your service? How do your clients feel when they've used your service? And this is a question you want to sit on and just really think about it. For us, we've been doing this in the agency recently, and it's like we have, I've covered this in a previous 3 videos, but we have business to human. We work with human beings. We don't work with B2B, business to business, or business to customer or consumer. We work with B to H. We work with business to human. And our goal is like, when we create stuff that clients get access to, service deliverables, fulfillment, we have to ask ourselves, like, does it meet the business to human criteria? Is it in human language? You know, do we build a connection with the client by doing this? The next is it like AI accelerated? So can the client get it quicker than we would be able to do? Like the tool. So the tool that we teach them, can they put it through AI and get it done rapid? And then speed to results. How quick can they get a result? And if anything in our fulfillment criteria doesn't meet those 3 things, we pull it because it's just noise. Okay. Again, I could do separate videos on all of this. Let me know in the comments if you would rather have done that. Next up, we have results. So pretty obvious that I'm doing a video on how to get amazing client results, and results is one of them. Most of these pillars fall flat in their face if you're not getting world-class client results. It doesn't matter how excited they are. It doesn't matter about retention, because if they're not getting results, they won't stay anyway. It doesn't matter about ascension. They're not going to graduate if they don't get a result. It doesn't matter how convincing you are. If you're not being authentic, then they're not going to get a result because they don't believe in you and the process and your service. So results is the fundamental thing, and I want you to really, really score yourself harshly on that, because there's a lot of coaches that I've met that think they get great results, and I'm like, prove it. And they're like, oh, I've got it in a drive somewhere, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's hidden somewhere. Like, your stuff in your business that doesn't get shown publicly will never get the reward privately. So, like, you can't turn around and say you've got results if no one can see them. So I want you to be honest with yourself here and just go, right, how do we get better client results? What do I have to do? What's the questions I need to ask? What do they have to have access to? Do I need to put some chocolate in front of the broccoli to get them that result? All this stuff, right? And last but not least, the final one is sales, okay? So sales, how does that get a client a result? Well, it all starts with your sales process. That's how you get them into excitement mode, how you can retain them, how you graduate them through the pillars. So sales has a massive impact on client results, because I know coaches who are sitting there with like 30 clients in their CRM, and they're never getting them a result because they're wrong fits. They're just wrong fits. So no matter what they put out there, no matter how much chocolate they put in the broccoli, they're never going to do the thing. They're never going to show up. No matter how exciting you try and make it, they're just not going to do it because they're wrong fits in your program. And that's where your sales process has to filter the people who are a wrong fit. So sales has a massive impact on results. So maybe don't be so hard on yourself when you go through these and go, I can't get client results. It's like, well, no wonder. 60% of your CRM, your client list, are a wrong fit for what you offer now. You've developed, you've changed things, you're more authentic now. These people who came in maybe when you weren't authentic. And so when we think about it, how many experts out there right now are pushing sales closers, teach you how to be a sales rep, a high ticket closer? There's no one teaching this stuff. And why is this all here? Well, this, my friend, is, of course, if you've been following me for a long time, this is the 10 pillars of MRR. So this right here is how you build an incredible monthly recurring revenue business. It's the 10 pillars of the MRR. It's my IP. So yeah, love to know your thoughts in the comments. These are the 10 pillars that I urge you to follow. Go and score yourself. You know, if you're here and you're like, do you know what, retention's not great, that's an amber. Ascension, I don't even have that. I don't move people through the tiers at all. I didn't think people would pay for that. Yes, they will. Authenticity, do you know what, I'm being truly authentic. I feel like I know myself, I love myself. I'm putting the message that I want to put out to the world, definitely. Maybe that's a green. Maybe you come down here, are you profitable? If you can't tell me your profit margin, then you're not profitable. Community, is it, do you know what, I started it and I didn't really finish it. Here it is here. And so just go through this and you'll figure out what you need to work on. And so whatever's red, really simple, take it and go and try and fix it. Go and figure out ways to fix it, or work with someone like me who can fix it for you. Obviously, this is priority 1, this is priority 2, because this is amber. This is actually third on the list. Only go and fix that, then fix that, then fix that. Okay, don't stress yourself out with hundreds of stuff to do. And that is it. That is how you get insanely, stupidly, insanely illegal results for your clients every single time. If your clients aren't progressing, there's a good chance it's one of these 10 things or a few of them together. Anyway, give this video a watch next and let's keep this ball rolling.